Hey folks, it's Troy, and I figured I'd bring to you a pen that I have not tried before, and I had not reviewed it before, and it's by a brand that I'm familiar with, but not this way. This is a Wing Sung 3023. My wife bought this pen. What she's been doing is, now that she's been kind of getting into the fountain pen hobby as well, she likes to peruse eBay and Amazon and some of the other sites, and she likes to order some pens on her own. And she likes to be budget conscious with it, so she'll order inexpensive ones. I've been looking on eBay just so I can see how much this went for. So, short of breaking into her account or just asking her, hey, how much did you pay for this, baby? I'm not going to be able to tell you because she's not here right now, and I can't ask her. So, it's a gray color. It's kind of like a gunmetal gray. And this pen in some ways impressed me. In that, number one, I like the look. Yeah, it's smooth up here. It's got just an ordinary clip right here, and you can see where it's not coming off the top. It's not stuck into it, but there's actually a ring here to hold the clip. And then you've got on the cap, you've got the cap ring, and what it says is Wing Sung, and it says 3023. So that's the model number that I could find. I'll be honest with you though, I couldn't find any of these just so I could look it up and say, okay, this is what they're going for, and get some more details from it. At the bottom half, you can see that it's got a nice, little pane pattern like that. So on the cap, it's just plain there, and just a nice little flat plain there. So it's one of those simple yet elegant looking pens. I was impressed with how it looked, and it is all metal. So it's not a lightweight pen by any means. It's 1¼ ounces heavy, and that equates to about 36 grams. When you uncap it, all it says on here, and I put it under a loop, and I looked, all it says here is Wing Sung on that nib. That nib, I found, tends to run a little bit fine. So I was a little bit surprised how fine it actually wrote. When I pull it off, you'll find that it's a cartridge converter. And it's got, at first it looked like somebody left some ink or something, but no, that's actually on up here. On this, it's just one of those clear plastic converters. And there's actually some design that's around the top here of that converter. So my wife had chosen some Diamine Apple Glory ink. You can't really see that it's green, but that actually is a light green ink that's in there. It's got the black section right here, which is fairly comfortable to hold. It's a little thinner than I like. So when you go ahead and close this back up, there's not a tremendous step down, but just a little step down right here to the black section, and actually holds fairly well. It's just a little short for me, and though it is a heavy pen, it's not too out of balance or back weighted when you go ahead and you post it. So one of the things I found, and I'll probably tell you about this in the writing section, the writing sample, because I figured why not, I'll just do one today because I can, plus I'm trying something just a little bit different. This particular pen didn't write quite as smoothly as I had hoped it would be, and I had to actually take my little smoothing kit and smooth it out just a little bit. One of the other things you're going to find when you go to close it, it's got a really hard push and a fairly hard pull. But that's not all that uncommon for this particular manufacturer. Hero and these guys, Wing Sung, are the same company. And the Hero pens that I've got that are all metal, like the 901, it's a really tough pull and a really tough snap back on for that snap cap. So you got to apply quite a bit of force for it. But still, it's pretty rugged. It's not going to go anywhere. The clip is kind of stiff, so it's one of those, you got to kind of pull it up. But then again, if I'm going to put it in a pocket, usually I just grab by the clip and put my fingers there anyway and shove it in. But then again, what you see that I'm wearing right now is usually what I wear to work. almost every day. So it's not like I wear a lot of button shirts anymore, just because I have the kind of job where I'm in the tech field and I'm behind the scenes and no one ever sees me. So anyway, I do like it. I may have to try to abscond this, steal it from my wife, just because I kind of like it. Matter of fact, she doesn't even know I'm borrowing it right now. So when she sees this video, she's going to know that Troy borrowed my pen. So anyway, I'm going to throw up a few statistics about the pen here so you can see. I gave you the weight of it, but I'll give you the measurements for it, tell you how long it is. So what do I like about it? Well, it's a good, heavy, solid pen. It's not going to go anywhere. It's a good knock-around pen. I don't think it's going to get scuffed up very easily, and because of how much it's already decorated with that checker or that pane pattern that's on the barrel, I don't think you'd notice a whole lot of scuffing to it unless it was pretty deep gouges that would take off some of the paint. And what else is there to tell you about it? It's heavy in the hand, but not too heavy. It is fairly comfortable to hold. What I don't like about it is I had to do some nib smoothing to it. It's a really tough pull on and off, and it writes finer than the medium point that was sold to my wife. So both of us being ones who are, we're just not all that impressed with most fine nibs. We kind of like medium nibs in our home. Matter of fact, all four of us who own fountain pens pretty much are more of a medium nib kind of person. But still, it's not a bad pen. I like it. And if I could get it to write just a little more on the ink flow side maybe, and if I could even get it just a hair smoother to write with, it's one of those I would really consider using it more often if I was the owner of it. As it is, my wife has like 44 pens in her collection, and she just kind of started this year collecting them on her own, as well as the ones I'd given her. So this is one out of 44 that hopefully she'll get some use out of real soon. Hey folks, this is the writing sample. I figured I'd do one just because I kind of like the pen. I like the way it looks, and maybe it gives you a better look at it. This is the Wingsong 3023, and we got this just recently, so I figured I'd give you guys a writing sample. So it is a Wingsong 3023. It's got a medium nib on it, and I had this filled with diamine. It would help if I could really, write a whole lot better. Diamine, Apple, Glory. So obviously that's a green ink. And, it kind of writes more like a fine point than it does a medium. So I realize that this is a Chinese pen, and I know that some Oriental pens, usually from Japan, tend to write a little bit on the fine side, but this is supposed to be a medium. Most Wingsongs that I've had so far have been mediums. A little bit of pressure, it gives you some pretty good line variation. Less pressure, less pressure. So, see how smooth it is? Well, guess what? It's not as smooth as I'd like it, but when we originally got it, I had spent some time actually working on it and smoothing out the nib. So that's one of the things I found with this particular pen. I wasn't all that impressed, number one, that it wrote a little bit on the fine side as opposed to being medium. It wasn't scratchy or anything, but what it was though is this paper probably, it really sucks up the ink, so it's not going to smear really well. So, but then again, it does not lay down a lot of ink on it, on this particular nib. Like I said, I went ahead and smoothed it out. It was not this smooth, and it's not still as tremendously smooth as it could be, but I did spend some time with it, and it writes a lot better than it did. So, if I want to go a little faster, it can keep up with me a little bit, but it's still not as good as I like. Nonetheless, it is actually a lot prettier than I expected it would be. So that's your Wingsong 3023.